Hey everyone, this is Krish. Hope you're doing well. In this video, I want to talk a little bit about bugs, right? I'm probably going to do a series of videos on bugs in software, what I've seen as typical causes of bugs, trying to generalize bugs, which is a very difficult thing to do, right? It's very specific to your systems and whatnot. But I'm going to take a slightly different stab at, okay, what my take is on bugs and what are the types of things that you could possibly do so you find fewer of those in the applications that you build. Here is my first video, right? Just to set the foundation, the premise for what I want to talk about. So I was working with my son earlier today on helping him get set up with probably one of his first bank accounts, at least independent bank accounts. It was very exciting because, who would have thought a checking account or a savings account and just creating one is a glamorous activity, but actually did become a very exciting one. And that's the beauty of children, right? I mean, even they take the simplest things and make them very beautiful, and you start realizing the value of life. Anyways, hopefully that gives some context to you, because otherwise, I've created a lot of these bank accounts during my life, and not all of them have been super exciting. It was more like a chore, but this one was not. I actually enjoyed the process of doing it, and then hopefully this is one of many accounts he ends up creating during his life and career, and wish him all the best. Now, as part of the creation of those accounts, the two of us, Vern and I, ran into a few issues, right? And that's where I was like, okay, maybe I should just talk about bugs. So it was, we had applied for he had applied for a bank account and also for a credit card at the same time. And then when he received those in the mail, it said, okay, go online to actually registering them and activating those cards. So we're like, yeah, sure. So we went to the site to activate the card. And then he realized, okay, just because he received two of them, the credit card and the debit card, the system was surprisingly, and maybe not that surprising because I've run into issues of that like that in the past, it did not recognize the fact that he was trying to register for a debit account, right, a debit card. It was the other way around. He was trying to register for the debit card, but it kept taking him to the credit card account. So long story short, as big as these banks are, we ran into a very simple issue. You applied for a card, an account, and at the time it suggested that maybe you should apply for a credit card too. And he was like, sure. So he applied for one, so nothing out of the ordinary. And then you get the cards in the mail, you try to register them. Then the system did not handle the fact that the user may have received multiple cards in the mail at the same time. So they're actually trying to register for one versus the other. So we ran into a bug, so we had to work around, make some phone calls, to the customer service to register one versus the other. So that was a bug. Next is, once we registered, he uses, he has a Starbucks app on his phone. He's trying to register. He has certain accounts linked, like to pay off those balances. So he wanted to switch out what he had with this new credit card that he received. So when he went to the app and tried to do that multiple times, it does the facial recognition on the iPhone, and then it's supposed to let you add his new credit card. It actually never did. So you hit that and it takes you right back to the page. He did that a couple of times and he was like, you know what, Daddy, maybe there is another bug here, right? So I think we ran into at least two bugs this morning just setting up this account. So the reason I mention it is these are large companies with tons of money. So you, as an end user, think, you know what, the systems are perfect. But such is life, right? I mean, we're all humans and we make mistakes. And even though you have tight, stringent processes before your releases go out the door, people run into issues, and sometimes very obvious ones. So what can you possibly do as a company, whether you're big, really big, or small, or really small, or super tiny, to watch out for these types of issues and make sure that when you deliver to the best of your ability, that your users don't run into issues, at least the more obvious ones. If it's edge cases, that's one thing, but to me the issues we ran into this morning were actually pretty obvious ones, right, that could have been caught. So I was like, okay, maybe we should talk more about bugs and how we can start addressing these issues, right? Not so much from fixing the bugs, but what could you have done, or what could someone have done as a company, so the end users do not run into bugs, right? Ideally, you don't want them to run into any bugs, but that's rarely the case. But the fewer, the better. And the larger the company you are, I think it's reasonable to expect that the number of bugs should be inversely proportional to the size of your firm, because you have the money to be able to catch all of this, unlike a bootstrap funded startup, which may have a little bit more issues, right? Anyways, probably pick this up in the next video. I just want to give context in the first one. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.